exact job. And I thought to myself, like, first thought was like, man, how do I do that? And the second thing I remembered is why I truly love this job and why I've stuck around for 9 years. And this talk isn't to give you, isn't to sell you on why you should stay here and make this a career, but really while you're here, get the most out of this job. Like this, it's no secret that Cutco's slightly different than the average, dollar per hour burger flipping job. No shame on those. I love In-N-Out, don't get me wrong. But really, like someone once told me many years ago, and I've held on to this advice: work this job as if you're never going to leave. While you are here, be here. Because the more you make, because you get what you get out of this job, what you put in. Can we all agree on that? Like if you don't make the calls, you don't get the demos. If you don't ask for the leads, you don't get the leads. Like we can all agree that you get what you put in, right? And sometimes it can feel like you're putting in a lot and there's not a lot of return. And that's why I'm here to speak with you today. I'm here to give you the keys to make sure that not only are you putting in the work, but you're getting out the results too. Because everything I'm going to teach you is something that I've learned, compiled from 9 years of training into a 25-minute talk. So I won't teach you everything, but I'm going to teach you what I feel like in current today's society, being a virtual manager, doing virtual demos, doing Cutco events, doing service calls, doing live demos, doing Cutco parties, doing all these different parts of the job. I'm going to give you what I truly feel are the keys to selling in today's environment. Okay. So first off, that's what I love most about this job is you can learn, you can grow, and you continue to develop the more and more you push yourself. And that's why we have push periods. Okay, I see y'all taking notes, so be ready. I'll let you know when I'm giving the keys. I love that you're taking notes, but I really want you to hear me. Why push period is the best time to sell Cutco. First and foremost, who's ever like needed motivation or accountability to get to work? Yeah, I've been that guy. I've done that before where I'm like, guess what? Now is the best time to get that motivation. Now is the best time to get that accountability. Because ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that's getting in front of you at this point is you. And there's something to say to that. If that's where you're at right now, you're like, man, I have all the accountability. I have some people to call, but I just don't know. And it's right. And you might think you're not good enough at selling Cutco. Trust me, I have that thought at least once a month. I have a bad day and I'm like, man, is it me? No. It's not me. I've sold a lot of Cutco. Get out of here with that. And so what you got to understand is now is the best time to push, right? Because you have the accountability, you have the motivation. 2, now is the time for you to craft who you are. Because push period is not necessarily just about what you sell. It's about who you become in the process. That's what push period is about. That's what's built this company. That's why it was never the objective was to sell knives. When the owners created Cutco, those American factory workers, those blue collar men that said, we're going to make a quality product. They didn't say because they wanted to make money and sell knives and be the number one. They wanted to provide a quality experience with a quality product. And that quality experience is the opportunity to sell Cutco, because within this opportunity, you can craft who you are. It's not the adversity that you face that defines you. It's how you respond to that adversity. Ladies, I've faced so much adversity just in this push period alone. And it feels like I've gotten punched in the face like 10 times. And then I get COVID and I'm like, what the heck? Are you serious? How I can't even be in front of people. I guess I got to launch my virtual sale. So for the first time in my career, I'm doing something that is way outside of my comfort zone, but because it's in the crucible of the push period is where you truly grow. And we all have this idea and vision of who we want to be in the future. We really do. I have this version of myself that I think that I'm going to be like when I'm older, 10 years down the road, when I'm in my 30s, when I'm in my 40s. Ladies and gentlemen, that version doesn't come to life until you make it come to life. And it's through adverse moments like these and how you respond and what story you're creating with the choices you make that's going to determine who that person is 10 years down the road. Because lo and behold, I am going to create financial wealth for me and my family. I never used to believe it, especially when I started working with Cutco 9 years ago. I remember I told my mom, I looked at her in the eye and I told my mom one day, Mom, don't worry about it. You're going to get to retire on my Cutco one of these days. And I am nowhere near being able to retire my mom and be able to just fund that financially. It has allowed me to help them purchase their house. It has allowed me to take over some specific roles until she could retire. So it's provided a lot of good opportunity, but nonetheless, the more and more I sell Cutco, the longer I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, the more I realize Cutco sells itself. At the end of the day, Cutco sells itself. So when I stand toe to toe next to Deanna, Brandon, Dwayne, Lori, Julian at the booth, I'm thinking to myself, man, why are they selling more Cutco? It's not them just selling more Cutco. It's they're allowing Cutco to sell itself more than I'm trying to sell it. So let me bring in some keys for you. Okay. Let me bring in some keys for you. Key number one to selling Cutco is scripts are, write this down. Scripts are just the beginning. Scripts are just the beginning. And I say that because if you're like me, I have to I do exactly what I'm told not to do. Like if someone gave me a roadmap and said, this is the perfect way to success, I'm going to be like, sure it is, bro. I'm going to try it this way and do all the other wrong ways only to find out that there is a perfect roadmap and that I should have just listened in the beginning. And I say this because the scripts that you have, it's not just the manual, ladies and gentlemen. Like there's an intro script on phoning. There's a script for starting your demo. There's a script for value building. You see it as just one manual that you have to like read word for word. And we tell you that because guess what? It's probably better than what you would say because it's definitely better than what I said. Trust me, like my first demo, I threw that manual out the door and I was like, but wait, there's more. And if you've heard me speak before, you've probably heard me say this because this is how my first few demos went. I did not follow the manual. And I'm pretty sure I said, but wait, there's more like 5 times. It does not say that in the manual whatsoever. The reason why the scripts are just the beginning though, is because each section is designed to help facilitate the right result, which is, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, has anyone met a customer who truly doesn't want Cutco? Like truly, you're like, nah, dude, even if it was free, I'd probably give that stuff away, bro. Like, nah, it's like not even that good, dude. You say American made, you say forever guaranteed, but like, nah, dude, I like, I like China made stuff. I like paying to replace my stuff. I prefer, no, it's Cutco, ladies and gentlemen. It's American made. It's forever guaranteed. It's a high quality product that you'll love and use every single day of your life for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Like, let's be honest, people like Cutco. So when you follow the right script, it allows you to get all the right information, right? And it's the right, that's what your customer needs is the right information. Not only do they need the right information, they also like, has anyone been in a class where your teacher, or you're like nodding your head and you're like we've all been in that class, right? But you're getting the right information. Is it sticking? No. So you want to have, here's key number 3. Actually key number 2, I'm sorry. Here's key number 2, enthusiasm. Not only do you want to follow the scripts, but you want to have enthusiasm. You want to have fun. Here's the deal. Why can a rep like Brandon, Deanna, myself, or even some of you, I know some of you have done it, sell a set, a $3,000 set in 15 minutes? Has anyone done that yet? Anyone sold a homemaker in 15 minutes? Ryan, you sold it in 15 minutes? How does that happen? Because what does the customer need to buy? They need the right information. They need to be having fun. They need the right information. They need to be having fun. That's it. Because here's the deal. If they're not having fun, they're not giving you their attention. Right? So my question to you is your customer on the demo because they've committed to or because they want to be? Because they'll show up if they've committed to, because they said they're going to be there most of the time, right? They'll show up and they'll be on the appointment. But do they stay on the appointment because they're having fun? Because when we sell, like, it's so funny. We were at the Ventura Fair, and our booth, the building, they did not allow customers to walk around with adult alcoholic beverages. And these are adults who want to go shop. And why was it important for us to fight the rule to end prohibition at Ventura County Fair? Because people love getting drunk and buying stuff. It's fun. I do it on Sundays, not every Sunday, but that's what I like to do sometimes. It's a lot of fun. And ladies and gentlemen, so just pro tip, if your customer is having a glass of wine on the demo, that's a good thing. But if they're not, that's okay too. Just get them to lap. That's all you got to do. So your demo, your goal should not be spend 15, 20 minutes building rapport. Your goal should be get in rapport and keep it. So you don't need to spend, right? Dami and I talked about this recently. And that, dude, Dami, I just got to give you a huge shout out, man, for like literally applying everything that we're talking about. And each time you have a no sell or a struggle, you call me and ask questions. And that's, I just want to give you a huge shout out, man. For anyone else that's asking your manager questions, especially after no sales, like just wait. You're going to see massive results over the next upcoming weeks, because that's what I've always done in my career. Even now, like Brandon told me, he goes, dude, like last question you asked me was like a week ago. Like, why haven't you called me? Why haven't you asked me more questions? And this is Brandon telling me this. So if Brandon wants me to call and ask him questions, trust me, your manager wants you to call and ask more questions. So that's my little question plug right there. But bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, when you get onto the demo, you don't need to spend 20, 30 minutes building a rapport. Get in a rapport. Take 5 minutes to do it. I'm not going to teach you how to do that now, but learn how to do that and stay in rapport throughout the demo. Because here's the deal. Once you get to the close, you don't want to be a salesperson selling them on the computer. You want to be more of a consultant, a shopper, a friend shopper, right? Has anyone gone bridal shopping before? I know most guys, you probably haven't, right? But like women, like I've seen a lot of like rom comedies. You know what I'm talking about? Like where they're dressing and shopping for brides dresses. Like the bride salesperson who's literally making thousands of dollars every time she sells a freaking dress. Like she's not trying to close them on dresses. She's like, so what do you think about this? Oh, and she's just more suggestive. And so like, you want to take that, like you want to have that understanding about yourself. Like you're not there to sell Cutco. You're there to help your customer buy it. That's it. Your job is not to sell it. Your job is to help your customer buy it, because they can buy online. But why don't they? Because they don't know about it. That's why, Mrs. Jones, yeah, you can buy online, but why would you? Why would you go to the internet and spend $3,000 in 5 minutes after reading some random reviews? Why would you do that? That's why I'm here, Mrs. Jones. I'm here to help you buy Cutco today. Now, Mrs. Jones, let me correct this. My goal is not to sell you everything in the book. But if you do see something you like, let me know. I'll show you the deals and specials that we have going on right now. If there's anything, you don't have to buy, but if there's anything you like, let me know. And I'm more than happy to go over the deals and specials with you we have going on right now. I tell every single one of my customers that on the phone, you don't have to buy. But if you see something you like, let me know. I'll go over all the deals and specials with you right now. And because of this, because of Push Period, we have a killer deal going on right now. Because the Ventura County Fair, whatever it is, So understand that your goal is to help your customer buy Cutco. So how do you do that? Okay. Again, I'm going to reiterate here really quick. Key number 1 is follow the script. Key number 2 is enthusiasm. And I don't mean just be like some weirdo with a lot of energy who just downed like 5 Red Bulls before you got in the Zoom. That's not what I mean. I mean intentional enthusiasm. Ms. Jones, I'm curious, how long have you guys had your knives for? Okay, cool. Have you guys ever considered investing in high quality knives before? Oh, no, you haven't? Okay, cool. Well, just to tell you a little bit about Cutco is one, Cutco's American made, Mrs. Jones, and it's handcrafted in New York. It's got a forever guarantee that's been around since 1949. So basically, if anything chips, if it cracks, if it dulls, if it melts, if it bends, if it fades, if it stains, we fix, sharpen, or replace for free forever. Ms. Jones, could you imagine if you had one set of knives that stayed sharp every single day for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Like just show of hands here on this Zoom, who actually cooks? Like who's cut like a tomato before or some raw chicken? Nick Burns, you cut some chicken before?
Chicken every day, all day.
Chicken every day, raw, cooked, both?
Both.
Both? Nice, man. Do you have Cutco or?
I do, yeah.
How long have you guys had Cutco for?
A week.
Oh, nice. You just got it, right?
Yeah, I just got it.
What did y'all have before Cutco?
Oh, some Costco crap.
Got it. Well, hey, man, I didn't call it crap. That was you. But I am curious. When you used to cut your chicken, how did it feel when you used to cut your chicken with those Costco knives?
I cut myself.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. I would like saw
my gosh.
it, and I would be like, well, because it was so cheap, I'd just like it would like be tearing, it wouldn't be cutting. Like
it wasn't like super sharp, like you had to put like a lot of pressure on it.
It was so bad. That's all I gotta say. It was really bad.
And how does the Cutco feel?
Oh, so much better.
Doesn't it?
So much better. It's like night and day.
Could you imagine if you never bought your Cutco?
No, I couldn't.
Or if you never got your Cutco? Like that would suck, right?
It would.
So hey, thanks, Nick, by the way. Thanks for chiming in on that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what it is take the time to ask your customers, you guys cook, right? You guys like cut tomatoes, you guys cut chicken. How does that normally turn out? Like show of hands, who raised a hand on tomato? Who's cut a tomato before? Who doesn't have Cutco? Olivia, do you have Cutco at home? Man, of course you guys got Cutco. Who doesn't have Cutco at home? All right, one of you guys in the live attendees.
Oh yeah, I don't have Cutco at home. It's super hard to cut tomatoes actually. It just
what happens when you cut a tomato?
It doesn't even cut. It just squashes.
Could you imagine what it would be like if? Did you see the video where they cut the tomato?
It's so satisfying.
Isn't it? Could you imagine if your knives were that sharp for like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
They will be eventually.
I like where your head's at, Mr. Jones. So literally, guys, I will stop the video or I'll talk over the video and just ask those questions. Because what am I doing? What am I doing when I ask that question?
Getting them to think. Engaging,
getting them to think. Specifically, what am I getting them to think about?
Their knives versus our knives.
Yeah. And I'm not telling them, I'm not being a salesperson and saying, oh, look, Mrs. Jones, look how much better our knives are than yours. Like they're telling me. Does that make sense? So now your job before you get to the close, okay? Your job before you get to the close is to build massive amounts of value. Massive amounts of value before you get to the prices. Your job is to build massive amounts of value and do it in a fun way for you, for your customer. Don't do it in a salesy way. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, like even till this day, I never know who I'm going to sell, what I'm going to sell, how much I'm going to sell, or anything like that. I just know that according to my stats, this is how many people buy and this is the average. So I don't need to worry on that because Cutco sells itself. Just if you just focus on connecting with your customer, right? Key number one is following your script. If you focus on key number two of enthusiasm and connecting with your customer, And key number 3, letting Cutco sell Cutco. You probably won't even have to handle many objections because they're just gonna be like, you know what, you're right. It's American made, it's forever guaranteed. It's a good product. Compared to that other Wusthof stuff, it's not that expensive. And you do payments, yeah, I'll take it. Okay, but you're probably still gonna have some objections. So don't expect no objections. But key number 3, let me finish off key number 3 for you, then I'll move forward, is let Cutco sell Cutco. And what I mean by that is you gotta say American made, forever guaranteed, and a quality product that you'll love and use every single day. I mean, I say that probably like 4 to 5 times before I even start talking prices, like hands down. I try to say that as many times as I can because that's what they remember. I mean, every now and then you'll get like 10% say like, ooh, rivets, tell me more. You know, what kind of steel is it? You know, you give them an answer and they're like, they say, yeah, like they know what you're talking about. Like, oh yeah, it sounds nice. And then it's like, oh, you know steel? No. Oh, okay. Whatever. They don't need to know all this crazy information. But what you do have to make sure they hear. And by the way, just another show of hands question. This is completely out of the left field. Show of hands. If mom, maybe mom, maybe dad has ever told you take out the trash while you're like playing video games.
All the time.
Yeah. Do you take it out the first time?
Oh, no. Yes.
That's why you go to Notre Dame.
That's a fear-filled yes.
You know, for me, if you're anything like me, it's like 3, 4, 5 times, or maybe they just do it and get really mad at you. So point of that is most of the time, your customers are not going to hear it the first time. They're just like you didn't hear, you heard mom, but it didn't make you do any action, right? So you didn't fully process it. So when you're with your customer, you got to say American made, forever guaranteed, and a high quality product you'll love and use every single day. You challenge yourself to say it 3, 4, 5 times if you can, because your customer is going to start to really ingrain that idea with the product. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's my my last key. Here's my last key before I close up in the next 5 minutes. My last key is price positioning. My last key is price positioning. Show of hands, except Dami. Who knows what I mean when I say price positioning? Awesome. I'm so glad. That means everyone in this room is going to get a lot better at selling Cutco right now. This right here is probably more now than pre-COVID, like 2 years ago, like virtual, all this stuff. Like more now is this important than it's ever been, especially on virtual appointments. It's price positioning. Write that down if you haven't already. What price positioning is presenting your price in a way that way when your customer looks at it, they think to themselves, that's a good deal. Who's ever had a customer say, man, that's expensive? How do you respond to that? Yeah, it is. It's the best, Mrs. Jones, right?
I thought it'd be more.
I know, I thought it'd be more too. So what you do is once you get to the Wusthof, and I'm not going to walk you through the Wusthof and step by step, but once you get to the Wusthof, have them write that price down, that really big number, that 4,000. Hey, and this is what it sounds like. So Mrs. Jones, at twice the value and twice the cost, or at twice the value, and you know, what's the manual say? It's been a while since I've read it. At twice the value. Oh, and it lasts forever. That's right. At twice the value, Mr. Jones and Cutco lasts forever. Most people would agree that Cutco's you know, is at least twice the value. At twice the value, you're talking over twice the price. So Mrs. Jones, do you have a pen and paper by any chance? Oh, no? Okay, run and grab one really quick. Let me know when you're ready. And I literally grab water and I turn, and that forces them to walk away to go get pen and paper. Does that make sense? So you get them to get pen and paper because they have to be able to write this down. Oh, I got it on my phone. Oh no, Mrs. Jones, trust me, you're gonna need some pen and paper for this. Go ahead and grab that really quick. I make sure they grab pen and paper and they say, okay, Mrs. Jones, do me a huge favor. At the very top in really big numbers, go ahead and write 4,000. Okay, cool. And like I said, at twice the price, we're talking over $4,000 for a set of Cutco. The great thing about this set, Mrs. Jones, is the homemaker comes with all 10 pieces I showed you earlier. The 8 table knives, it comes in a block, it comes with the board, comes with a sharpener. And the great thing about this set, Mrs. Jones, is it actually doesn't cost $4,000. Go ahead and cross that out. And then go ahead and write down 2,000. Okay, cool. You can cross that out too, Mr. Jones. It doesn't cost $2,000. Go ahead and write, was it 1419? Yeah, so go ahead and write 1419, Mrs. Jones. And then underneath that, write 289, I think is what it is, 289.
287.
287, okay. And then circle that, Mrs. Jones. So what you're looking at is the $2,000 number. That's the price of the Wusthof set on sale. So, and with the Cutco set, because it's American made, it's high quality product that you'll love and use every single day with the forever guarantee. You're only looking at 14 this. And what most of our customers do is they put on 5 months interest-free payments. So you're only looking at 288 today. And we do have a buy now bonus. And by the way, when I say that price, I let it marinate a little bit. And Miss Jones, go and circle that 288. Yeah, so that's the 5-pay price. Basically, the way that works is it's the 288 today for 5 months. We charge the card like Netflix does for 5 months until it's paid off. There's no interest, there's no credit checks or anything like that. And we have a buy now bonus where if you get this set today, I can actually buy you either the super shears, the kitchen tools, or the entertainer pack for free. Out of the entertainer pack, the kitchen tools, and the super shears, which did you like the most? Okay, Susie, well, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask Susie. Did you want to go ahead and get the homemaker today and get those super shears for free? And then I wait for an objection. I wait for an objection because it always comes. That's why you have to price position. Because when you price position, the psychology behind it, your customer is going to look at it and think to themselves, if they're not already thinking about it, it helps them understand the value, right? Because we don't compare, like if a customer is comparing Cutco to their cheap knives at Walmart, saying, well, you know, I could spend less money and just buy $100 knives every 3 years, you know, and if I buy a sharpener, they'll last longer. Like, no, it's not the same thing. It really isn't. And they don't cut the same. They don't feel the same. They don't last the same. And, you know, the only thing we compare to is like Wusthof. One, they don't even last forever. And they're like twice the price, bro. Like, let's just be real. There's no better product than Cutco. And if your demo you can pitch your demo to where your customer's like, you know what, man, $1,400 is just way out of my budget. But because some people will buy it, right? Some people will. But if they say it's way out of my budget, but I really like this stuff, then your job is to help them buy Cutco. Now, your job is to drop down and help them find what price works best. So when your customer says no, how do you respond? Do you get nervous? Okay. Do you give up? You just stop showing stuff? I know reps that used to do that. I could tell because they never sold anything but a homemaker. It literally was like no sell, no sell, no sell, homemaker, no sell, no sell, no sell, no sell, no sell, no. And that was an easy fix. They didn't drop down. But if you're selling homemakers, galleys, space savers, trimmers, 5-piece specials, 3-piece specials, buy 2 specials. That means you're doing your job and you're showing all the options. And when you get to this process, your job is not to try and sell the next thing, try and sell the next thing. It's to get really curious and think to yourself, okay, does this person like Cutco? Okay, does this person want Cutco? Okay, besides what they're telling me, can they afford Cutco? Here's the deal. If they got a job, chances are they can afford Cutco. If they don't have a job, don't ask me how, but sometimes they can afford Cutco. I literally just sold a cookware set for like $2,400 to a guy who just lost his job. I didn't ask him how he was going to pay for it. That was his objection. I just gave him a better deal. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I should take it today. Okay. So again, when it comes to selling Cutco, you got to ask yourself, do they like Cutco? Do they want Cutco? What am I doing or what am I not doing that's getting in the way? Okay. And a big tip, by the way, guys, like, and this is for like you managers too, but one of the things that I used to get asked a lot of when I was a manager was why my reps in my office would sell so much. Like, why did I have so many reps year after year sell 10, 15, 20, 30? And I'm sure there's better managers than I was by far, definitely, especially nowadays. But like back then, even by today's standard, I had a lot of reps sell a lot of Cutco. And the biggest reason is, guys, is you got to humble yourself. And I'll finish you off with this in the last 10 seconds. You got to humble yourself. If you have a customer who likes Cutco and they're not buying it and you don't know why, and you can kind of tell, and you're like, I feel like maybe they didn't like it or maybe they don't want it, or if whatever the objection is, it doesn't matter. If they like Cutco and they're not buying it, even with the objection, call your manager, because my reps would call me every single time when they got to the homemaker, like clockwork. And I'd sell, I don't know, most of their sales on the phone for the customer. And I wouldn't talk to the customer. I would just tell the rep what to say. Hey, say this, say this, say this. And it was almost like me selling to the customer at this point in a very laid back way. But who do you think was getting all that experience downloaded firsthand?
Your rep.
Why do you think Tino sold 250,000? Why do you think Mark and Jay sold 100 grand a piece? Why do you think Spencer sold 100 grand, ran a DM? Why do you think Jesse ran a branch, was in, had a $15,000 push? And why do you think he sold 60 something? And why do you think Zach graduated debt free? Why, like all this Cutco was sold? Why? Because there's a way to do it. And if you don't know how to bridge that gap, just utilize your manager, humble yourself. That's the fastest way you're going to grow. I do it at the booth all the time. When I'm with a customer and I can't close them, I'm like, hey, Brandon, I'm curious. Quick question, man. This person likes this. They're saying this. Here's their objection. Here's their concern. Is there anything we can do to help them? And he'll close it for me. Or last week, I closed an ultimate set for Jake. Jake was at the booth and he's selling to the customer, and the customer it was after like 30 minutes, and the customer's like, all right, well, hey man, we'll think about it. We'll talk to you later. We'll call you later. I asked that customer 3 questions as they're walking away. They turn around, come back, and they buy the set. They bought the ultimate set. I asked them 3 questions and I closed it for Jake. And so even at our level, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, humble yourself, be a student. And if you focus on calling your manager for help at the close, if you do it with the intention that I'm only doing this so I can get better, you're going to have better results versus you're calling, hey, I'm calling my customer so I can get a deal, so I can sell stuff. That's selfish. Call so you can get better, so you know how to serve your customers, because people want to buy Cutco. The question is, are you helping them buy it? That makes sense? Great question, Nick. Kevin, that's the end of my message. If there's time for Q&A, it looks like there's some Q&A rolling in as of now.
Yeah, we have time for a little bit of Q&A. And so, probably have time for about 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. And so I know you have one question already coming to you from the chat box. And so, which is, what were those questions? But so we can start with that one if you want.
Yeah. So this, right? So there's an app you can download, by the way. Okay. It's called the Vector Events Audio. Now it's more specific towards working events. So I would recommend going to Vector Connect Audio to get audios, but you can listen to messages. Like Brandon has a talk on selling, like multiple talks on selling, but there's a talk by Matt Graves. It's called The Objection Cycle. And it's literally like, once you find a customer where you know they want Cutco, you know they can afford Cutco, but for some reason they're just hesitating pulling the bullet. It's not like a straight out like, oh dude, there's no way we can swing this. They're like, oh, I don't know. I mean, it sounds nice. I kind of like it, right? Like, so that's kind of when you use the objection cycle. And so the questions, there's 12 questions. And they're not necessarily designed to be used, Nick, in order, like one after the other after the order. Sometimes it'll be like that, but really what it's designed to do is you have to have the 12 questions memorized, so you know which question to ask and in what order to ask it in. Because sometimes I'll ask, like as an example, 7, 3, 1, 4, and then I close. Rarely is it 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's 12, 11, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2 again. Like you asking, you have to, keep getting the same answer. So I preface it before I give you these questions. Okay. I think the questions will help, but here are the questions, right? First question I love to ask is, so Ms. Jones, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this deal? Or Ms. Jones, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the set? So when a customer says, oh, we want to buy the homemaker, but now it's just not a good time. Okay, cool. Yeah, totally, Ms. Jones, totally get that. I am curious though, what are your thoughts on this set? And then they'll tell you, and what they tell you gives you information. And really what it's giving you information to is, okay, do I need to try to just offer a little better of a deal, or do I need to just drop down? That's kind of where it's kind of pointing you in a very in a very base level. That's kind of what you're trying to figure out. So, okay, like what is it that I need what does this customer need to feel comfortable saying yes? Or is it like a better deal? Is it like do I need to drop down for a lower price? So I asked them like that question, what are your thoughts on this deal? And that gets them talking to me. The second question that I ask is, and again, not in any particular order, but is Ms. Jones. So Nick, considering that Cutco's American made, it's forever guaranteed, and a high quality product that you would love and use every single day, would you agree that it's worth the investment? And now what I'm getting them to tell me is, now they're telling me that, yes, I believe Cutco is worth the investment. So the first question I asked was to kind of see where their head's at. Okay. Because, they, like I said, when I asked this question, my customer told me, oh, man, because I asked him, the guy that bought the cookware set and like didn't have a job, like I asked him, I was like, well, what are your thoughts on this set? And he goes, I really like it, but like, I just, I haven't gotten a paycheck in like 9 months or something like that, some crazy amount of time. And then I actually segued in that conversation. I'm like, oh, do you like run a business? He goes, yeah. I have like a partners in a business. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, considering that Cutco's American made, forever guaranteed, and it's a quality product that you'll love and use every single day, would you agree that it's worth the investment if you wanted to do it? I love saying that. If you wanted to do it. Well, yeah, no, totally. Okay. Awesome. So next question is, Ms. Jones, if you guys wanted to do it today, I'm curious, would you even be able to swing the 298 if you wanted to? Ms. Jones, I'm curious, if you guys wanted to do it today, would you be able to swing the 298 if you wanted to? I'm literally just asking my customer, so is it the money or is it not? That's what I'm asking them. And depending on their answers before, that'll tell me which direction to go. Because if they said, you know, what are my thoughts on the deal? The deal is great. It's a great deal. I would love to do it, but it's a bad time. Okay. Well, would you agree that it's worth the investment? Yeah, totally agree it's worth the investment. Well, if you wanted to do it today, could you swing it? Well, no, that's a little out of my budget today. Ah, so it's not that you don't want to buy Cutco. It's that you don't have 289 to spend right now. Oh, okay. I'm glad I know. Now I can drop down. Now I don't say that to my customer like that, but you hear my thoughts, right? And if they say, yeah, I can swing the 289, then I say, okay, cool, Ms. Jones. Well, just so I know, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, 1 being you're not that interested and 10 being you wanted to get it, where would you say you're at? And if they say like a 5, do not let up. They're going to buy something. Trust me. In fact, in 2017, we ran statistics over $100,000 in sales. Anyone, I think it was like 97% of people that said 5 or higher bought something. Usually it was that set, that deal, but like most of the time, if it's a 5 or higher, they buy. They don't always buy the homemaker, but they buy something. It could be a galley, it could be a space saver, it could be a 3-piece special. You know, three $300 orders adds up to $1,000 order. Like, you know, so I asked him scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. And from there, again, it guides me which way to go. You know, if they say 5 or 7, I say, cool, Mr. Jones. Well, I'm curious, you know, how can I get you to like an 8 or 9 today? You know, not quite a 10, but asking them, how can I get on a little bit? And they'll say like, well, you know, that is there anything you can do on the price? And they'll start telling me, they'll literally tell you like, well, sometimes they'll even say like, how about them like, how about that entertainer pack? You know, they said they want the scissors, but they're like, well, how about the entertainer pack? Literally, I had a customer call, right? A rep call me, and she goes, it was the rep that called me during the close. We asked all these questions, and she goes, okay, so bottom line is, tell your manager that if he wants the sale, that I want the entertainer pack, the super shears, and the kitchen tools. Ask him if he can do it. She like literally cut me off and like told the rep, tell your manager this. Because when you call your manager, it's up to your manager. I never talk to the customers. I would just talk to you and tell you what to say. And I would just repeat these questions. That's how I got my reps to sell a lot of Cutco. And that's how they learned how to sell a lot of Cutco. So if you call in at the close, you don't have to have this memorized, because your managers have sold a lot of Cutco and their career sales are worth a lot, like millions, because they've helped sell a lot of Cutco. And I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that the reps that call in the most tend to sell the most. So I think there's some correlation with that. But those are the questions that I ask, and it helps guide me in the right direction. You know, and the last question I'll say is, you know, awesome. So you're at about an 8 or 9, Mrs. Jones. Cool. Well, hey, I'm curious if I can go over the top and do one last super duper turbocharged deal. You know, this is not a Cutco special. This is a Nick Burns helping his aunt, manager helping his aunt out special, right? Make sure your customer feels real special. If I can go out of my way to do some little extra for you today, might you consider just doing it? Because they've already told you they can afford it. They already told you they want it. They already told you they think it's worth the investment. Now it's just closing. Closing is an art. It's a dance. And you gotta learn the dance moves. And calling your manager is gonna help you out with that a lot. Because you don't need to call them forever. But it will help you get to 10, 20, 30, 40K a lot faster. And then you can start teaching others how to do it too. So I hope that answered the question.
All right. Well, thank you very much there for all of that content, Donald. If you got some good stuff from Donald, give him some love in the chat box for sure. Abby, I noticed you have a question, but I will cover that in the Alliance tomorrow there as well. So, and thank you very much for your time, Mr. Sanchez. Yeah. we'll
Thank
give
you
him a
guys.
just so you know, you're getting a round of applause here live. You're getting a round of applause. So,
I appreciate it.
yes.
Go sell some knives, guys. It's push.
All right, man. I hope you feel better. Kick that COVID quickly and keep me updated on how you're feeling, buddy.
I will. Thanks, Kevin. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
All right. All right. Well, hey, guys, I would love to get your guys' feedback on your best takeaways there from Donald. So just a little debriefing session. What were some of your best takeaways? Either Zoom or live here as well. You can go ahead first, Edris. What were some of your biggest takeaways?
Well, I definitely think the Cutco sells itself is important. Just helping them buy, you're not selling it.
Yeah.
Helping them buy it.
Yeah. Awesome. So really just having that conviction in the product yourself, knowing that customers are going to be interested in it. So great. And any other takeaways? Looks like Jara, you had a takeaway. Go ahead, Jara.
Yeah, I thought it was really great how he had the customer get a pen and paper out and write down 4,000 and then keep going down to really show them that the cost of Cutco is not 4,000 or 2,000, 3,000. And it just makes it pen to paper. They're looking at it at, wow, I'm really getting a great investment here.
Yeah.
So it makes them see it rather than hear it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. Really them being able to understand that, that's just the going rate for high quality cutlery, and that's just what it goes for, right? And whether you're having them write it down or whether you're just really slowing down during that part and making sure they're catching it, right? That can be a huge difference maker for you, for sure. Anyone else with a takeaway?
I like how he just reminded you that even if they say no, it's still possible to get